Judas Priest just dropped one of the most unexpected surprises of this metal summer, and it freaking slaps! So yeah, just a couple of days before the final ever Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne concert, Judas Priest decided to rehabilitate themselves for not being able to attend the biggest metal party of this year, and released a cover on War Pigs, which, if you think about it, is not really a cover, but is done specifically to pay homage to their lifelong friends. And the coolest thing is that this song was of course not chosen by metal gods by incident, as first of all it is one of the earlier Black Sabbath songs, back from the days when Black Sabbath and Judas Priest were just forging early heavy metal sound in and around Birmingham. The song which basically symbolizes their friendship, as pretty much every Judas Priest fan knows that in addition to everything, it is a song which metal gods basically use as a call to arms before every Judas Priest concert. But at the same time, this wasn't just a regular cover, and it was actually full of really interesting surprises for all of the Black Sabbath and Judas Priest fans, of which for some weird reason not many are actually talking about. But first and foremost, I have to point out that one of the most exciting parts of this video was of course seeing the legendary Glenn Tipton right there together with the boys, as it actually has been well over a year since we last time saw the legendary guitarist rocking out together with Judas Priest up on stage. And the thing is that, in all honesty, I don't even care how much of an actual input Glenn Tipton had on recording of this song. Not at all. I'm just super happy to be able to see Glenn once again, and the truth is that he kinda had to do that one, right? Since although he did join Judas Priest all the way in May of 1974, which was 51 years ago, still, he was one of those three original guitarists who basically co-forged the heavy metal sound we know today. But nevertheless, the first of the many interesting things about this recording is that unlike the original War Pigs done by Black Sabbath, where we only had one guitarist, this time around we had not one, not two, but three Judas Priest guitarists rocking out to that tune. As in addition to Glenn Tipton and Richie Faulkner, we also see nobody else but Andy Sneap. And the thing is that it actually is the very first official recording done in the studio by Judas Priest, where we can actually hear and see Andy, at least officially, and which in my opinion is simply incredible thing, and is actually well overdue. Come on, by now Andy is a part of our Judas Priest family. So yeah, this time around we've got three generations of Priest guitarists trading riffs and solos, all while staying true to the Sabbath sound, but injecting it with that Priest fire. As the craziest thing is that, at least to me, this rendition of War Pigs both sounds true to the original, but at the same time is undeniably Priest-like. And not only thanks to Rob Halford's incredible vocals. As Richie Faulkner, for whom Tony Iommi of course was a huge influence and of which he has spoken before, also adds his distinctive modern tone and fluidity to the original track. And the funniest thing is that last year when we met together with Richie, he actually told me that he's very happy to hear people say that apparently he has a very distinctive Richie Faulkner sound, which he couldn't believe it. Well, mostly due to his modesty, of course, but in my opinion, it is on this track where we can definitely hear that trademark Richie Faulkner sound flourishing. And in my opinion, the whole fact that he didn't play it note for note, just like Tony did back 50 plus years ago, only adds a charm to this rendition of this legendary track. And then there is Scott Travis, who, in my opinion, simply crushed the drum section. On one hand, he didn't overplay or modernize Bill Ward's iconic parts too much, but what he did is that he kinda gave it that late 70s Judas Priest energy, groove, and punch, which gave you just enough extra flair to remind you that this isn't really a copy, but rather an interpretation. It's heavy where it needs to be, smooth where it counts, and gives the track that thunderous drive it really needs. And now, continue talking about the different parts of that song. Well, I always said that Ozzy Osbourne, who might not actually have the biggest vocal range among all the metal vocalists out there, still has always had such a unique and distinctive voice, which is pretty much impossible to replicate. And we all know that, right?
Every day weeping apart.
And so on this track, Rob, who actually did sing together with Black Sabbath on 2 occasions back 30 plus years ago, did not really replicate Ozzy at all, but he rather made it an undeniably Rob Halford-like song, which if you simply wouldn't know who originally released War Pigs back in the 1970s, you could actually believe that it was one of the early Judas Priest tracks.
No more war pigs have the power.
But then there is a cherry on top, and what may be one of the coolest surprises, at least to me, a die-hard Judas Priest fan. The legendary Ian Hill. Unlike on many previous releases, not only is Ian front and center in the mix, but he's also doing what he used to do back in the day. Jumping all over the bass with movement, melody, and presence. But the craziest thing is that just like back in the old days, Ian actually left his pick at home and used his fingers, which he always said was a natural way of playing for him. As in case you guys didn't know, back in the early days of Judas Priest, Ian Hill would always play bass with his fingers, and only by the late 70s he decided to do what not is best for him, but is rather best for the band. And in order to be able to cut through the two very loud guitars at Judas Priest, he simplified his bass lines and started using pick on all of the future Judas Priest recordings. And so seeing Ian Hill in 2025 doing once again the same thing as he did back 50 plus years ago is simply a gift to all of the Judas Priest fans. But nevertheless, Judas Priest did it, and the band, who have always been one of the biggest friends of Black Sabbath and suddenly are not able to attend the final ever concert by this band because of the obligations they had before that with Scorpions and their celebration of their 60th anniversary in Hanover that same night, paid tribute to their lifelong friendship with Black Sabbath in the most Judas Priest way possible, with power, passion, and style. It is metal gods honoring the founders of metal, with mutual respect and deep friendship shining through every frame, paying tribute both to the early days of heavy metal and to the roots of both of those bands. As in addition to everything, you can actually see the Black Country flag hanging in the background of the video. A reminder that both of those bands came from the same streets, same clubs, and shaped heavy metal as we know it today. And by the way, talking about their friendship, I actually have been meaning to release a special episode on the relationship between Black Sabbath and Judas Priest, and especially the one in the early days, when Tony Iommi, for example, was the first ever manager Judas Priest had, and the many other rather interesting aspects of their relationship they had back in the early 70s. So if you would like me to release a special episode like that, please let me know in the comments. But for now, I'm just super happy that we got this cover, and the only thing I personally hope for is that it's going to be just the first of the many covers we will hear in the coming days by the legendary bands, and B, is that this song will actually be available as a single and hopefully will be released on vinyl as well. But anyways, what do you guys personally think about the Judas Priest homage to Black Sabbath with their rendition of War Pigs? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!